Or there's a committee seat.
Get extra points for a name.
No, don't need it. So you were the one where if we were gonna one of the places. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you can kind of. They had all the cameras. Oh, on the camera. But he was so graphic as far as he yeah, they thought of my world.
Yeah.
That is perfect. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I can have your attention, I'd like to welcome you to the kickoff of the planning, zoning, the update to the planning, conservation and development. So this is happening on the regular meeting night that planning and zoning would have a meeting, so we are gonna run it like a meeting. So we don't run foul of any problems. So Jeff, if you'd like to take over, and then when we get down to this point, then I'll take over again.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight to help participate in this very important thing that we're doing with the updating plan of conservation and development. Go through the whole form. David Moore, would you like to start us off? David Moore? Good luck. John Day? And Young. Jack Mark. Wait, Ryan, what's? Doug Porter. Oh, I forgot you, Doug, I'm sorry. Well, easy to forget blended in over there. Yeah, right, yeah. Liam. We had that concealed shirt. Needs some alternates.
We have some folks online.
Oh, Aaron's online too, right? Aaron, we can just say that you're here.
Yeah, Aaron Farbo.
Anybody else? You can, Mark Blackman is also online. Mark Blackman's online. Mark, you want to say you're here? Yeah. Mark? Anybody else?
No, I don't think so.
Who's there? Appears to be too long. See White and Doug this evening. Everybody's welcome. Everything, if you all, join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Turn the over to the very capable people tonight. Julie Fay and Cameron James and Amy Monahan. Jessica Weaver, who's going to help as well. Thank you for everybody for participating. Hi, Joe. Please note for the record that Joseph Badaletta joined us at 7:35.
We're here to talk about the updates in conservation and development. And so just quickly, want to make sure everyone's on the same page. The facts, the Connecticut General Statutes requires that the town update it at least once every 10 years. You can do more than that if you'd like. And there is a penalty for not updating it by the deadline. The town would become ineligible for certain discretionary grant funding. And when the Planning and Zoning Commission is considering amending the regulations or changing the zoning map, you have to go back to the POCD and consider whether it's compatible with that. And why we should care, all the development that happens in town has to comply with the regulations. So if that's not working for the town, or you'd like to see new opportunities, it goes back to the regulations, and then that's where you should consider making changes. I, as a planner, for many years, I really think you should plan before you zone. But this is the opportunity to plan what you want in your community before you write the regulations. So Amy's gonna take over for a little bit and have this really fun exercise for us.
Well, it's a couple exercises, actually, let's not lie. So I asked everybody to fill out what these words meant to them when they came in. Does anybody want to share what community means to them? We're gonna have someone share.
Sure. People living and working together in harmony.
Anyone else? Another community.
Church, education, outreach.
Very good. Anyone else? Different?
Neighbors coexisting, hopefully for a common good.
Like it. Development. What does that word mean to you? This is where it gets a little different. I think we agree more on community than development. Who wants to share their idea of development? Sid.
Building, infrastructure and utility.
Very good.
I take a little broader approach. The word development is just a positive connotation. Develop our minds, develop our body, develop a game plan for a coach, for a captain, for a team leader.
I like it.
Forward. However, that positive connotation is also used for development of land. And to me, that's not always positive. The loss of forest land, the open space, converted to some other land use that benefits humans, but not necessarily any other type of life.
Which is exactly why I do this, because people have so many different views and different thoughts.
Conversion of our natural world to human-centric activities, including housing, industry, and business.
See, that's interesting. We had like the human action stuff over here. We had the natural stuff here, and development is the conversion of. I like that. Anyone else have to?
Mine's really simple, it's change.
Ooh. And we all love change, right? Anyone else want to share development?
Progress. Walking, talking. I call it as similar to Sid, but.
Yep.
different one. Maybe children. Or. Maybe church or something. That would be
I like the idea of relearning this.
Progress.
And our last word, conservation.
See, one resources. Probably a bunch of them. Stewardship of the land, natural resources. Preserving the natural world as much as possible, with absolutely minimal human impact.
Stuff like that.
Save for sustainable use.
Very good. Good.
I gotta say, point of sustainability.
Sustainability, the key word, one of those hot words these days. Anyone else, conservation, different idea. So the whole idea of all these activities we're gonna do tonight is to think beyond your thoughts, not change your thoughts, but just see things in other ways, maybe come up with new ideas or thoughts that you haven't thought of about looking at the town and how we can develop it or conserve it and how we can build our community. Sexy.
So for the plan of conservation and development, I think sometimes some towns have more of an emphasis on one over the other. It really should be about both of them. So if someone might say conservation is, if land is your town's most valuable resource, then don't waste it. You also have the other theory or idea for development. A community consists of more than just the land and trees. People make the community and they need jobs, homes, and food, etc. They need to look at both sides of it.
So I think historically, when I look at Woodstock's plan of conservation development, it seems like there's a lot more about the conservation and the preserving because we live in such a beautiful, great place. But I think that because you can't stop change, we have to, which is why I have these activities, you have to look at how you can develop it to still have the conservation and keep the beauty that we have, because we can't not develop, which is sometimes our plan, and can be very dangerous. So I want you to think about what is your favorite place that you have ever been. It could be here, it could be across the country, another continent, a city, a forest, anywhere. Your favorite spot, something that you absolutely love being in. And I would like someone to share their favorite spot or place.
On the back 40th farm,
Okay, what do you love about it?
quiet. Away from everything,
Kind of untouched, open, free,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
nice view.
Gives you a little inner peace.
Mhm.
All right, who has a different favorite place than that peaceful back 40? Has anyone traveled overseas, like a city?
Second beach in Newport.
Okay, what do you love about that particular place?
Ocean, just the fact that it's relatively easy to get to. Going there after 4 o'clock, you don't have to pay.
Conservation.
Yeah.
Of your natural.
Does anyone have a favorite city, Jean?
I was gonna say,
That's
like,
okay.
one of my favorite, like, I love our national park deep, and I love going to our national parks. But knowing that I live in the National Heritage Corridor makes this place fun.
Does anyone have a favorite city, just to get something different? Boston, what do you like about Boston?
Places to go.
Yeah, what else do you love about Boston?
Say that.
So, the available places to go, places to eat, places to drink, things to do, right? is there a spot in the city that you are drawn to?
You hang out with the.
North End, so it's got a lot of historic, a lot of, you know.
other towns.
And it's set up in a cultural way.
Can I share? I've been spending a lot of time in Chicago, and one of the things I absolutely love about that city, and luckily my daughter lives close to it, is the fact that you have city and then the Great Lake, which feels like an ocean, and it's so easily accessible. And there's this like mile park that has outdoor art, and there's all sorts of walking paths all along the lakeside. And so it's a great combination of both city and natural resources.
All right, so now we're gonna flip the script, and what is the least favorite place you've ever had to go, or you go to, someplace that you just absolutely cannot stand?
Culture.
Why? Why?
Wow.
It doesn't help me.
Something in the water.
So the people, you don't like the people of Colchester, the community of Colchester.
Should be like smaller.
Okay.
11.
Moving on.
New Jersey Turnpike.
All right, what do you dislike about the New Jersey Turnpike or Jersey in general?
It's crazy, hard. Basically, there's incredible nutty drivers. The road is beat up, and then there's this horrible sort of desecration of natural life that's on either side.
Yeah.
We feel like we're part of it.
So we have the things that we love, which are, you know, the natural resources, the clean, the easily accessible, the things that we enjoy, and then we have the things that we don't like, which are the nasty people, the dirtiness, the speeding, the unfriendly transportation, the destruction of our beauty. So this is gonna take about 15 minutes. Deal with it. Everybody needs a piece of paper or two. We're gonna think about being a planner and creating your own ideal space. A lot of times you have grown up in Woodstock and you're used to Woodstock or you're used to a country or your experiences. We're gonna start at the very beginning, go back to a clean slate and think about what would be the ideal city or town that you could create, okay? Anything is possible. We're gonna start in 5 steps. We're gonna start first with the edges. So you're gonna pick a shape for your city, you're gonna draw your shape, you're gonna pick edges for your city. How are you gonna define those outlines? They can be natural edges, they can be mountains, lakes, water, streams, fields. They can be man-made edges, they could be roads, they could be bridges, they could be rails, they could be buildings. The purpose of an edge is to define a boundary. So think of your shape and what you want on the edges of your city, and you're gonna actually draw everybody. Everybody's gonna draw the shape of their city and what they want for edges around their city. For example.
Everybody got more than one piece of paper, and you're not being creative. Don't want me.
So you keep saying city, but
Or
it feels like a village.
Town, village, yeah, okay. So you're a planner, you're planning a space, all right, but you want it to be a space where it could exist with a group of people, almost like a small, it could be a town or a village or a city. It's not just like a one place, it's a unit, okay? So when I say your city, it could be your idea town or your idea neighborhood even, if you wanted to do it that way. So it can be large, small, in the country, up against the ocean. Could be an island, whatever you would like it to be. It can have water. Does not have water. We all have a shape,
Mm-hmm.
some edges,
Mhm.
we all set,
That edge.
good edges? What are they?
One.
Yes, but what are they? Are they walls? Are they roads? Are they
Oh, chain
mountains?
link
Are they chain link fence? Not going to be this thing. The man who loves his backboarding has a chain link fence city
Yeah,
order.
chain link. Right. We count the boundaries.
Boundaries.
I've just drawn boundaries. One to the other.
All right, we're gonna move this very quickly, we'll get through this of it, because it will take forever otherwise. Inside your city, which you should have edges, defined edges of some type and boundaries, you're going to create districts or areas. So what is a district? It is a small part of a city or town where they have a special identity. So there's a business district, there's a residential district, there's a recreational district, a conservation district. So figure out what, how many areas or different identities you want in your city, break it out and label your districts. You should have at least 3 in your little town. While you're doing this, I'm gonna talk about some types of districts. There's downtowns, there's cultural districts like Chinatown, or, there's banking districts, industrial districts.
Mixed use district.
Yes, mixed use, something that we should definitely talk about, so you can have more than one use in a district. You should be thinking about what districts are next to each other. You wanna have your houses somewhat near your residential, what needs to be centered. How these districts would help each other be in positioned. Open space is a district. So your back 40 can be part of that. All right, the next thing we're gonna focus on is landmarks. So in your areas, you have something that people know it by, or a reason for someone to come into the space you're creating. Is there a waterfall? Is there a statue? Is there something, some type of landmark? Could be a huge church, anything that stands out. What is gonna stand out and somewhere in your city? You don't have to do one for every district, but nice. A park, maybe you have a statue. What does your landmark say about the districts? Does it show history? Does it show art? Is it man-made? Is it a bridge? A modern marvel? Right, public spaces. In each of your different districts or somewhere in your created town, city, village. Where are people going to gather? What is gonna be the focal public space? Is it like a cultural park with a theater in it? Is it the library? Is it just a park? Is it the downtown shopping district? Like, what public space do you have? And think about the people in it, like how big is it gonna have to be and what should be in that space? How does it relate to the district it's in? Is your public space green? Is it all natural? Is it inside, outside? And then the very last thing you're gonna consider is transportation. How do you get from one district or space or location to another? Is it a walking city? Is it a biking city? Do you have public transportation? Are there trains? Is it just cars and streets? Is there a certain traffic flow? What would be the best way to get around this ideal dream place you've created? Is your transportation environmentally friendly? Is it futuristic? Do you have an all-electric city or location? So the whole idea of this, and it's a very quick crash course into it, is to see about what goes into towns and communities. Ideally, you'd be able to create your ideal space, but how often does that happen? Planners or people in the municipality, they have to come in and deal with the space that already exists. But coming in with a clean slate, you see the type of things that you want to have that we might not have in our town. So not that all of them could happen here, but it just gives you a thought, like what could come in here and how could it impact, what could be different? You know, would it be a small part of something? Just different thoughts was the whole point of that activity. Anyone want to share their city? Anyone?
I don't want to share it. I can tell you a mistake I had.
What'd you make?
Which is I designed the whole city and the only way for people to get around is by cars, and I realized that was really stupid. Like, why did I do that?
Okay,
And so
what is the only way to get around in this stuff?
that's really,
Yeah,
so, anyway, I learned something.
yeah, someone learned something. My task has been completed. Anybody else learn something or think about something differently? No. Yeah.
I was looking to limit my city to, no cars, except maybe some sort of, surface and subsurface, public transportation, bikeways, walkways, running ways, electric scooter, bicycle things people use, but.
Right.
Whether it's during COVID or occasionally in New York City, when you close down, I think it's in Fifth Avenue or in the park traffic for the day. It's just a whole different feeling.
Right.
You're not dodging cars and stepping off the curb and wondering what you're gonna get back by, and noise drops and pace drops, and it's really enjoyable.
See, I find that whole concept very interesting in Woodstock because it's already a natural and beautiful place. And yes, you can walk down our roads, but sometimes it's taking your life in your hands, and we don't have specific walking areas. A lot of the trails we have aren't the best upkept. So if that's a focal point in the ideal place, how do we bring part of that into our community? And that's the challenge that we're in, and that's the opportunity that this has, saying down the road, this is what we need to aim for and trying to plan to get there.
Just add a little bit more, I think I was also envisioning a very vertical, almost like a Manhattan kind of city, surrounded by protected open space, farmland and forest, so it can't sprawl, it's only gotta go up. And because of that, it's this very dense clustering of everything you need. So unlike Woodstock, where you
Right.
do need to drive 5 or 10 miles to get to something, that kind of distance and time and effort involved disappears in very dense type of development.
Do you think that Woodstock would benefit from going vertically in some, like in a specific area? Would that help? How would that help and hurt? You know what I mean? You don't have to answer. This is just a thought. You can answer if you want to, but we don't have vertical housing here. And it would require infrastructure and other things, but that's a thought to say, like, we have a housing problem or we have this type of problem. Vertical is an option. Is that something that could ever work here to save the space, and where would that best fit? And these are all thoughts that I'm hoping maybe you've never thought of before, but we do now after doing this activity. All right. One more thing, and then Delia is gonna take over. Everybody gets one of these. We've done this before, it's SWOT. Who knows what SWOT is? Right there.
Weaknesses.
Yes. So this is the strength and weakness part of SWOT, okay? So you are going, there's Post-its in here, there's pink and green, you are going to write 3 strengths about the town of Woodstock, 3 things that you think are our strengths. On 3 Post-its of the pink color. Okay, and then you're gonna do 3 Woodstock weaknesses on the green. In 1 on each, okay? Each strength and weakness gets its own Post-it. They're gonna put it up. Okay, 1 strength per Post-it, 1 weakness per Post-it.
Amy, I just wanted to add for the folks that are online, you can put your comments in the chat, and then we can check them and share them with the group.
When you are done with your 3 strengths and your 3 weaknesses, you can get up. We're going to put them on our town map over here in its appropriate location. If it doesn't have a location, it's a town of place, and it's just an idea or concept, it can go around the edges. So this is our map. You're gonna put your strengths and weaknesses where they appear in town. You can get up and put them up whenever you're done. It's not a location, it's a concept that can go outside the town limits. Park at the top, so you get up here down here, good, like, you know. Yeah, like if they're all, you know, frozen area, then you go in there, and if they're not, then, yeah. Yep. If they're. Living in a comfortable space for every time. On paper. I'm gonna go over to the original then. I know. And you're gonna love the next one. Yeah. Right, you have a look at it. That's-
And then we-
Yeah. But I one of them, yeah. They finally really wanted to go one of the places in the very look down. Yeah, and then I think about the fire. Yeah, no.
So we did this exercise at an Economic Development Commission meeting. And it was very interesting looking at that map because our answers, a lot of them from that group of people, because it's a different focus, right? Were inside the town, like there were central locations where you can see big weaknesses and big strengths. And in this map, that doesn't show up at all, which is very interesting with the different groups of people answering the same questions.
Now we're gonna move on to opportunities and threats. So you each should have 3 sheets of blue. We're gonna do opportunities on blue. So write your 3 opportunities on blue and your 3 threats on yellow.
So your opportunities can come from your weaknesses. They can be bettering a strength, they can be completely different. Your threats are the same way. Can a strength become a threat? Can a weakness become an opportunity? Or it can be completely different. So what opportunities do you see in Woodstock? And what threats do you see to Woodstock? She missed you though.
Do you have three or? Does everybody have three of each color? While we're all working on that, I didn't know if anyone online wanted to share their strengths and weaknesses. Aaron or Dan? So, Aaron or Dan, if you wanted to just let us know, if the chat's not working, you can just raise your hand and we'll call on you.
Hi Delia, it's Dan. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't seem to have a chat feature on my Zoom interface, but I took the online survey. I'm trying to call it back up to see what the questions were.
Well, right now we're working on what's on the screen. Can you see the screen where it has the blue square strengths?
Yeah, SWAT.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you have anything you want to share for strengths and weaknesses? Write them down for you.
Sure. I think one obvious strength is our large lots. It maintains the rural characteristic. An opportunity is affordable housing located in the right place. We can get the best of both worlds with our proximity to Putnam and the availability of their services, sewer. A weakness, it's tough to say. I mean, I think we have strong processes in land use. We do get some criticisms that we're not business friendly, but I think it depends how you think about it. A threat would be outside market pressures. There's interest in how many lots could somebody potentially get on a large piece. There's a strong demand for housing, and we do see a lot of land lost routinely. If not, open space, perceived open space. And over time, that I think, or probably at an unprecedented time of losing the rural raw land, that how much is going to be there in 20 years.
So did you say that it's an unprecedented time now?
I mean, it feels like it feels that way in my lifetime. Like this is all the lots are for sale and all the houses are going in, and I'm sure there's always been booms and busts, but I feel like the housing market of Massachusetts is pushing down onto us, and the demand for housing here already existed for people hoping to, who grew up in Woodstock, hoping to live in Woodstock, or people hoping to get into Woodstock. How much time do we have left on the land we have?
Please, thank you for sharing. Aaron, did you have anything you wanted to share?
So looking at the map, it's overwhelmingly a open space Inc. world that we are living in. So our strength is our open space and our rural environment by what's on here, scenery, that type of stuff. Agriculture, open space takes the number one, most of them are in that realm. There's a good chunk for schools. And the overwhelming weakness is the lack of or limits to infrastructure and like programming, recreation, that type of support stuff. So that is the winning weakness in town. Which is pretty, yeah, transportation, that type of stuff. Those are your number ones according to everyone. For strengths and weaknesses.
And so for opportunities. And Brett, if you want to place your posts up there.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? The lack of, right? I know. But that's why I like doing this activity, because there's always two sides. People focus on their one type of thing and they go, we don't understand how it's related to the other, or that, oh, yeah. Exactly. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I think there's quality here.
Thank
What do you mean over there? Oh, so with infrastructure, so that would be that we don't have transportation, what's road, there's like lack of transportation, but then we have a lack of. Because really we just have. You know what I mean? You're right. What'd you figure out? It's so funny.
opportunities. The opportunities were supposed to be in this blue color. We have small businesses, young farmers, open space preservation, expansive area. It's a fixed housing, work on property. I'm not sure what that means, work on property blank slate to plan. Education to inform property owners and benefits of smaller lawn areas. Help for agriculture, or growth opportunities, intelligent teams, intelligent growth. And then for our threats in yellow, we have many areas to add infrastructure, safe passage, changing culture, building, bedroom community perception, conserved land and resources, business opportunities, development, investment, firms are buying land and housing for corporate use, VRBO and Airbnb, forests are small parcels, not ideal for management plans, cars, laws and regulations, space for public spaces, overcrowding, solar fields. So I'm glad we have so much input. When we have a chance to summarize it, we'll provide them the results back.
There's gonna be a lot of color sorting later.
Yeah.
All right. I just gave everybody an envelope full of money. Okay,
Thank you.
so this is your budget. Okay, it represents a budget, whatever the budget might be. That's how much money you have to spend on projects that are outlined over here in these different categories: quality of life, which is housing, recreation, and community; natural resources, air, water, and land; economic development, businesses, events, and zoning; and public services, infrastructure, public buildings, and services, educational, and municipal. So that stuff is all displayed over on this table. There's examples. There are purple squares where if you want to spend your budget money on bettering that opportunity, you are gonna slap your money down on the purple square that it meets size. Okay, so all of the regular budget stuff for the town is spent. It's covered. This is extra project budget and you get to spend it however you would like at the table.
So these are ARPA funds.
No, they're. So go on over, see what's over there, see what your choices are, and distribute your budget, all of it. Everybody has that budget, so this shows how much you put and where you put it. No, so it's just you get 3 10s and 5 5s. I messed up on that. So there you have everybody has $250. Okay. So you have 5 1s, 5 5s, that was my mistake, 3 10s, 2 20s, 2 50s, and 2 100s.
Yeah.
Okay,
I only got
you only got 100?
Yeah, 100.
All right, so then you only got 100 and 150. Everybody has the same. I promise. So wherever the purple is where the lights have. For the thing that are. $250 budget, I messed up when I.
What's our bond rate?
No.
You got a bar, you can spend one.
That was not what he said. Nice try though. No, there's more money over there, so there's more specific categories. There's 4 tons, but there's different stuff, like there's more detail. There's like tourism. There are events. Yeah. Not even close. Maybe 10 years ago.
Going out there on social media and saying that, but hey.
So the kids that was a bigger spread one home, and it was one of the tragedy factors.
Oh.
She like had the lungs, you know, whatever.
The last time she passed.
That's so funny. Hysterical.
Right, but it's hard to play.
Been doing it with two different groups, because like the clusters on the map look completely different with the other people that we have on this one.
According to like much broader nature.
Yeah, but it's, yeah. I bet it's like that, if you went to every commission, the map will be colored completely different, because that's what their interests are, you know?
Somehow.
You know what?
Somehow.
Not me. You like that? You know what I mean? Like. Thank you. I have a. Yeah, like, yeah, people here, but whatever. Yeah, I'm actually a lot of people. They're doing your place, like, yeah, I don't know, like, what's how much good it is. Yeah.
Last day.
You mentioned
Yeah. It's cooled down a lot. Look at it. Can't find anyone. You don't feel it's actually close. You know, it's look at it, but. Like, there was actually.
While we're counting up the money, you've been distributed 3 little red pieces of paper. Use the change slide. Those are, how do you see Woodstock? What do you love, what do you hate, how would you describe it? 3 words that you would describe Woodstock with. Okay? Any way you want with this. You get 3 words.
One word for.
1 word, peace. What? Peace.
I like that problem, brevity.
Would anybody like to share the word? How they describe Woodstock?
Sure. spread out. That's what I hate. What I love is the country feel. And the third thing is sort of how I feel is manageable.
Same.
Scenic. Community. And farming.
I think a lot of people see it that way. Anyone else?
I love the views. Feel lucky to be here.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, the thing it's hard, I don't really hate anything, but it's just the taxing and spending struggles that we go through. It's just hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's okay taxing, but then the whole issue is hard.
Great. Anyone else?
I like, if I can read this, it's just gonna make it worse. I like water access, we can have access to water, I like wood. And, I don't like the bullies. A lot of bullies that have appeared since social media has come into play.
Yeah, I like that. We look at bullying in a lot of different ways. Anyone else want to share theirs?
Quiet, community, and rural.
I like it.
Which one do you hate?
You didn't have to, those were just ideas. It was just 3 words to describe, so those were just ideas. So I'm actually gonna collect all of the red cards, and I'm gonna do some stuff, and I'm gonna see which ones are the most popular from the group. Because I like doing that. You wanna take that conversation? It's just your conversation.
So we'd also like to hear what your top ideas are for what you think Woodstock will be like in 10 years. And I picked 2035 because after this update, that will be the deadline for the next update to the kind of conservation development.
So the concept for the question was actually, if you come back to town, you leave town and you come back in 10 years. What do you think you're gonna see? What is Woodstock? What do you think it's gonna look like in 10 years, the path that we're going? You know what I mean? Or like, what's your prediction, the way things are right now?
Are we writing this on something?
No, it's a conversation. So there's 2, there's the question, what do you think it's gonna look like the way we're going now? Like, what do you think it's gonna be? And then the next question is, what would you want it to be in 10 years? But right now, it's what do you think it is going to look like in 10 years?
I think a lot of that's got to do with how many original or long-term Woodstock people can afford to stay here. More what I would call Woodstockians that can stay here, I think the better path is gonna be. But unfortunately, we're getting to a point where it's very difficult for the younger generation to stay.
Anyone else?
Well, I see a lot of cottage industry, home-based businesses popping up that are not really, helpful in developing our tax base. But people are employed and making income, but it's not something that's taxable for the town to run service.
Anyone else? What do you think it's gonna look like in 10 years?
Personally, I don't think it's gonna look a whole lot different.
Valid answer. Lots of people have said that. All right, now the flip, what would you like it to look like in 10 years?
A lot like it looks now.
Yeah. Farms and forests, yeah.
Place where people can enjoy the natural way that Woodstock is in a safer way.
Yep.
More people on the side of the road with bicycles and walking and becoming, creating hazard. Inevitably, it's something that's gonna be tragic. We just need places to get off to the side of the road seem to be wide, it needs to be like paths, and you need to be places for people to enjoy it, not be intermingled. See that we have to teach all the drivers to be more. There's too many people passing through our town, just can't wait to the other side.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's,
And they don't teach young kids how to drive very well either. I just had one go through driver's ed, they don't learn anything, it's rather frightening.
I actually thought about that, it's the expression on that face when they meet me. 10 feet wide, over 100.
I bet you see a lot of those expressions.
A lot, big, wide mouth, open mouth. Look out.
All right, anyone else want to share what they want it to look like?
I'd like to see more, opportunities for passive recreation, more hiking trails developed so that people can be outdoors and absorbing all those positive chemicals from our woods and, getting more healthy. Safe places to walk.
So that is something that is great. The first thing that comes to my mind is how do you support that? Like, how do you get, you know, because it has a certain cost to it, so you almost have to bring people in to walk on it, because we would never be able to support that just for the people in town. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that goes into these processes, you know what I mean? So the answers for your words for Woodstock, the winner with 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 is rural.
Do we wanna check and see if anybody online, Dan or Aaron? Anything? Dan or Aaron, do you wanna chime in?
Well, my sentiments were already shared among other people, with other people there. I think, I agree with most of the words that were brought up and the vision that was brought up for the future. Keep it the same.
Okay, thank you. Aaron, did you wanna say anything?
Yeah, I agree that most of the things that I think of were also brought up. One thing I'd like to happen in the town is for more like younger generations to be able to, you know, afford to live here and have more younger people in town. That would be nice to see in the future. I'd like that to happen. Do I think it will happen? I'm not exactly sure, but it's something I'd like to see if it could if it would be possible to make happen. It would be nice.
So the winner with 7 was rural. Place with 5 was scenic, which is similar, but a little different. With 3 was quaint or charming. And then tied with 2 each was quiet and community. So those are the winners for words describing this. Not done.
So what happens next? We have the survey. You may have seen the ad. We also have paper surveys in the back, and we have the little flyer. The flyer has a QR code. You can use your phone to access the survey, or you can type in the survey. You could also go on the town website to get a link to it. The paper surveys are upstairs in the town hall. They're in the libraries. They're in, Amy, where did you put them? The surveys, where did you put the paper surveys?
They are at the farm to table market and at the Woodstock.
And I also brought them to the New Roxbury Village. So I'm hoping to get a lot of surveys. You can do them on paper or online. So if you haven't done a survey, please do the survey. And the deadline is September 15th. And then we'll be having more meetings. I'll be sharing the results, the summarized results of this evening, as well as the summarized results of the survey. I'll be sharing with you demographic data about how Woodstock has changed since the last POCD. And we'll talk about what changes you'd like to happen, which that kind of is a discussion that comes out of the survey results. And then we'll draft it and we share it with the Board of Selectmen. We have a public hearing and you can make changes if you'd like after you've had all of the opportunity for the meeting and the hearing. And then we send it off to the state after you've approved it. We're not gonna have it done by the deadline. We just need to send in a request to the state for the extension. I've never seen them turn it down. But if you don't submit the request and you haven't completed it on time, at least that may not be eligible for that discretionary grant funding.
Excuse me, are there dates for the other things like the Your,
They-
the
the
additional
dates haven't
meetings,
been-
the update drafted.
The dates haven't been set yet.
Uh-huh.
So that brings me to this. You can sign up. There's a sign up sheet over there. If you leave your email, I can email you the agenda for the next meeting. Also, there's something called the public notice registry. It looks like that. There's paper copies up there and it should also be on the town website. And so if you sign up for it, anytime we're gonna have a meeting for the plan of conservation and development or for any text amendment or zone change, notices about those meetings are sent out to everyone who signed up for that registry. So thank you both for coming. That's all she wrote.
Anybody wanna guess what the winner was? Most money spent on?
Open space.
That was second, land came in second,
Education.
education came in third. Town services. Town services, so fire department, zoning, public works, services, protective services, all of those safety town services came in first with 555. Land came in right behind it with 550, and education was 465. You can come up, all the totals are up here if you wanna look and see how it's distributed, but those are the three tops.
And you'll come up with.
Yes, that's all of it.
Please tell other people about this. Like, just even the conversations that we had tonight and.
And take the survey.
And to take the survey, and as Delia said, it's both online and it's in all the libraries. And even, you know, you can tell the people you don't like to come and do this.
We already have 136, but when you think about that, 136, and there's 6,000 voters, all the other people that aren't, like, we need way more than 136 responses to make this actually beneficial for the whole town. So please tell everybody to take the survey.
But personal encouragement helps get people doing it.
I also put the flyer itself with a bunch of handouts at the gas station. They didn't have room for paper survey.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll be to the ground.
I would, just like to say thank you everyone for coming and participating. Special thanks to, Jessica for donating their time, and Julia. Thank you, everyone. Important thing in this good day. There are other people here besides commissioners that are, concerned about the POCD and want to participate. Tell your friends, those people who are not your friends, that let's all get a bunch of people to take the survey and there's a motion on the table to adjourn by Tim Young, seconded by Julie Gould. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Equal you. Thank you, everyone.